What's going on? Howdy, howdy. If you can hear me, please give me a 5x5 or thumbs up or something. Thanks, Dustin. Happy Tuesday, brother. Hey, Oki. Trying to give them a few minutes, see if anybody else shows up. I've never really done a midweek daytime live. Just figured I'd try it. How are y'all doing today? It's nice and sunny here. Blue skies. A little bit windy, but all the snow and ice is just about all melted. Watching this press conference right now with Peppermint Patty. More dribble, more mindless dribble. Yeah, Dustin, I was up in your area a couple weeks ago up in Colby, damn near on the Colorado line. I got out of there just before that snow all hit. I'm getting ready to take another trip to Colorado. All they do is run their mouth, I'm telling you. It's all about covering your own butt. Anyway, hey Bonnie's. How are you? Of course. You're here all the time. Hey, Kay. Well, that's the truth, isn't it? I'm proud of these truckers up in Canada. They're holding the line. What I would have liked to have seen, though, is doing it simultaneously with Canada and the U.S. Now hey, Prep, good to see you. Now that, now the feds have plenty of time to put things in place to have an obstacle for them, unfortunately. But I wish they would have done it simultaneously together at the same time, and probably would have had more of an effect in the States because they're going to be prepared for it now. Well, I got 5 that showed up. That's good. So I just had a belly full of all the crime coverage and crime reports and videos, and I'm just sick and tired of having to listen and deal with all these weak-kneed politicians that are soft on crime and want to make the rest of us live in squalor and be in fear and let the inmate run the asylum, if you will. And so I just sort of wanted to vent a little bit, I guess, and maybe wake some people up to the fact that it's getting ready to get really bad. I think that this is all foreshadowed and a precursor to the as far as the recipe goes for the new the reset, the changing of America, if you will. I also think that they're just clever enough to let crime completely get out of whack and then have to implement some sort of control measures, if you will, from a law enforcement side, i.e. the Mike Alpha or Mike Lima Alpha. And who knows if that authority would even be, truly implemented. But if you think about it, they obviously don't care about votes. I mean, think about it. If you were to let things run amok so bad in areas where so it's all blue areas that this is happening in primarily, and you expect those people to vote for you, why would you keep doing it if you didn't have alternate plans in place? Because people eventually are going to stop going to work because they're scared and they're going to quit making money. Well, guess what happens when you quit making money? You quit paying taxes, right? So what good is letting the crime spike and get out of control? How does that help you politically? Because last time I checked, gangbangers and criminals and drug addicts, they're not the ones out there voting. So think about it. What benefit does it give the people in power to embolden criminals? What good does it do them? What's in it for them except instability and lack of confidence from the people? And if they can somehow federalize police, it's going to be real. Hey, Bill, good to see you. If they can federalize police somehow, like they did in Germany and these other European countries like France, they can control them. Yeah, but the thing Sunset is votes. The criminals aren't voting. The business owners that are being affected by the crime, they're going to have enough of this at some point, and probably vote the other way. That's what I'm saying. I don't see how coddling the criminal element gets them votes, because those people don't vote. And the people, I'm not worried about the people with scruples that go, my life's not very good, I'm going to vote for the other person. I'm not worried about them. But the people that have their head down and they get in front of the sheep in front of them, get behind the, one in front of them and just march, those are the ones I'm worried about. But even them, it all sounds good. It all sounds good to them, when they're making the pot of stew and they're throwing all the ingredients in. But when the product is ready to eat, they don't like the taste of it. But they expect everybody else to eat it. And it's just a really unstable time right now, as most of you know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, I'm sure. But in these blue areas where they control everything from the local police chief up to the mayor and city council, you got a problem. And you've got a real problem if you live in these blue areas that have a stranglehold on the entire uh, you know ecosystem in that area, because I don't think you're ever going to get out of it. And when you have, I don't even know why they're hiring security guards. I mean, all they're doing is just putting themselves in risk. I mean, they just sit there and watch them steal, which I'm sure they can't do much legally. But I'll tell you another thing they ought to start doing. Hey, little boots. Another thing they ought to start doing, and I have no problem with it at all, if they're not going to lift the mask mandates, they need to have everybody that enters a store to stop and pull their mask down so you can see their face. They need to take a picture of them and they can go in. Because people with wearing masks all the time, there's no way they're going to get identified most of the time. But look at what's going on in Canada. So they're criminalizing protesters, is what they're doing, because they don't fit the narrative. These people in Canada are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. This is how it's supposed to work. Aside from the break-ins on January 6th and the damaging of government property and assaults that may or may not have taken place on either side, that was what people were supposed to do. They shift. I'm not advocating the destruction of government property or injuring other people, but what I'm saying is it was their right to assemble, and they're trying to criminalize it. And so you got a power struggle. We've got a power struggle now with a certain segment of the government versus the population. And it's like The Exorcist, the priest is trying to exorcise the demons, out of the girl, and she's fighting it, and the demon won't let her go. It's sort of the same situation that I, relate it to. The government's got all this power, which was never supposed to happen and never supposed to be that way, but they got the power. And control law enforcement, they can retain the power. So the power struggle is real. And I tell you right now, I got no sympathy and no mercy for any of these leftists that voted for this crap. They're going to have to reap what they sow, and they're going to have to lay in the bed they made. I don't have any mercy for them. None. If they're ignorant, they should have educated themselves before they casted a vote. It's your job as an American to vet and research who you're voting for, and not just because you like what somebody wears or what somebody typically says, or how they wear their hair. I mean, this is just stupidity. But I said it and I'll say it again. The stupidity of the American voter is nothing to laugh at. It's a dangerous combination. We're going to have to start giving it back to them. People are going to have to start standing up. Everybody's seen the video of the poor student that was getting beat down, getting hit in the head repeatedly in class in front of a teacher, and everybody just sat there and watched. Number one, that's evil. Number two, there was plenty of people in there that could have stopped it if they wanted to. They probably got off on it, But people better learn how to stand up and defend themselves, because it's just going to keep getting worse. I firmly believe that. And God forbid it happens to you, or you get put in a position to have to make a move. If somebody is that brazen to do that, you've got to do something. They do it because they don't think they'll have opposition. They do it because they think they intimidate people. They think they can get away with it. And most of the time they can. That's why they keep doing what they do. But it's just getting, number one, there's a lot of evil out there. We all know that. And there's a lot of mental illness. There's always been mental illness, right? People that walk among us throughout history. There's always been that. But I think it's an epidemic now, the amount of sickness that's out there mentally. And you've got to be prepared to run into these people. If you're out in public, you have to be prepared and you have to watch and you have to be ready to respond, whether you are in a defensive posture or you're fleeing an area because something happened. You still have to be in a position mentally yourself, cognitively, to assess the situation and decide quickly what you're going to do. You had the Costco parking lot murders. I mean, you have people getting jacked for their groceries at the store. It hasn't even gotten bad yet. People would rather steal and commit crime than just go work and get a job. They would put more effort into committing crime than just going to work. You always have to work harder to commit crimes in the end, you know? It's always more work. Well, Bill, you know, they do hold a certain amount of power, that's for sure. That's for sure. But I think at some point, you know, people can believe whatever they want to believe and think how they want to think. I'm not telling them how to think, but I think in the end, we're going to have to end up cleaning this up ourselves. I think that's going to be the reality of it. And I feel pretty fortunate where I live. But people, if you live in one of these blue strongholds that's never going to change, if it's never going to change, I don't know what you're doing there. Seriously. I mean, I know it's not easy. Nothing really today is easy, honestly. But there's other places you can go and have a better life. I'm talking about everything from taxes to security. But again, what good, unless they're just virtue signaling, what good does being soft on crime, what good does it bring a politician? Because again, I'll say it, these people that commit crimes, you know, regularly don't go out and vote. So they're not going to give you anything unless you're just maybe you're on the take, maybe you're on the payroll from these gangs. I don't know. Well, that may be another aspect of it too. Getting 20 years for a murder. Are you shitting me? This guy in New York, he's out of his damn mind. And how people stay there, I don't know. 20 years for a murder is the maximum. 20 years. Well, again, you have to ask the question, why? Is it payback? Most of the smash and grabs and stuff I see on TV, I don't have the facts. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Most of the people I see committing these crimes are young African-American males. Well, I think that this DA in New York, this one particular borough, he's maximum 20 years for murder. Exactly. Puddle of souls. I think that's what it is. It may be part of it. So I don't know the numbers, but the videos that I see of these smash and grabs and other crimes being committed, the ones I see or the ones they're showing on TV are typically young African American males. You got some guys wearing some damn safety jackets the other day at that mall, like they just got done off a work crew and ran in the jewelry store and stole a bunch of stuff, like on their break. It's going to kill tourism. And people like New York, places like New York, they thrive on tourism. San Francisco, same thing. LA, same thing. They thrive on tourism. So again, think about it. Ask the question why these DAs, most of them people of color, not all, but some, want to be soft on crime. Why is that? Why would you have no cash bail? Here's the thing. You get to choose whether or not you commit a crime. You get to choose if you commit a crime or not. Now, sometimes if you're in a gang, they might say, hey, you need to go hit that jewelry store. I get that. But most of the time, people choose to live in that lifestyle. Just like people choose to be greedy, just like people choose to be alcoholics or drug addicts or prostitutes, whatever the case may be. People choose that lifestyle. So it's not like you just can't go get a job. And I'm sick of hearing that crap too. Oh, I can't get a job, so I turned to crime. That is the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Because you can go get a damn job right now. What it is they don't like to have to report to anybody. They just want to get cash money and avoid the system. When I tell people to travel armed, this is what I'm talking about. You're not going to get to pick where your incident happens. Like I said, you got people getting jacked for groceries in parking lots. And it's war. In some places, it's flat out war. Hell, you got people in San Francisco and LA leaving their windows down because thieves are breaking their windows and costing them more money than what they're stealing in repairs. They just leave their hatchbacks open and their windows down. Hey, Lee, good to see you. So they just leave their windows down and say, come on in, steal what you want. I mean, that's insanity. That's right, Bonnies. And birds of a feather flock together. Hey, Tactical. But I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them, I guess. I've been to those places in Europe, Needle Park and all that stuff. It's all disgusting, filthy. Come by and pick up the dead bodies at night. That's what they do. So people just, need to wake up to the fact that this country's changed. And depending on where you live, it might have really changed. And if you value your safety, one, you probably need to consider relocating to a safer place that's more conducive to your lifestyle and safety. Two, arm yourself and get proficient with utilization of offensive weapons. And three, be smart about where you go and who you give your money to. And change the way your posture is. Don't just bebop down the road, kicking a can down the road, one foot in front of the other, head down. Man, you got to be on your toes nowadays. And trust me, if you're on your toes, criminals know it. I don't care if I'm in line at the store waiting to check out, or in a parking lot, or at a light. I'm always scanning my six. I'm always looking around. Always. probably why I'm so stressed out all the time. I'm OCD to begin with, but I'm always head on a swivel, 360. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm not saying I'm Superman, but you know what? They're going to have to be pretty damn good to get to me. Yeah, I saw that puddle. Good God. But we really have to be on our toes and be smart with what's going on because it ain't going to get any better anytime soon. I hate leaving my state because I'm going to places that typically aren't like mine. I don't like being gone for long periods of time from my base of operations. I like to be close to my, control center, if you will. That's good, Puddle. Yeah, consider teaming up. But it is government versus the people, for sure. And they have got it really twisted. They have turned it upside down, topsy turvy, and they have what do you call flipped the script and got us, working for them instead of the other way around. And what's scary to me, the most thing that scares me is the numbers because I don't know that we have the numbers anymore to stand up to the government overreach and illegal behavior. I agree, Puddle. Yep. No more flying solo. You don't need to be flying solo, people. I'm telling you. I mean, I do it because I'm prepared. I feel pretty secure in myself and my abilities. But if I can, I team up. I'm a work from home person, so I'm alone a lot, at home, and it's always again whether I'm taking a walk around the neighborhood, which I recommend people do from time to time, or to the store or wherever. I'm constantly scanning and evaluating what's going on around me, and it's just one of those things that I'm used to doing. It's one of those things where we have to we always, let me back up a little bit. We always want to hope for the best, right, for our country and our people. But at some point, hey, Denise, at some point, I think you have to make the decision, okay, this is the way it is now. Until it changes, I'm going to maintain this posture. I'm going to expect the worst, hope for the best, but whatever happens, I'm going to be ready for it, or as ready as I can be. And I think if you can, get over the hump and say, you know what, this is just how it is now, and we adapt, right? You adapt and make moves to counter the threats that you might encounter. No, I'm not saying live in fear at all, Jeff. But like I said, with me and the way I'm wired, I'm just always constantly thinking about things. And there's a book called The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. I've put it on several videos before, but I really recommend people get that book and read it and keep it. Don't live in fear. I agree. I'm not saying that you should. What I'm saying is be confident and empowered in your abilities to, one, scan the room and know what's going on or wherever you are, and being able to make a move and react to whatever might happen. Or if you get a bad feeling, you get scat. I'll show y'all real quick. I read this book a couple different times. Gavin DeBecker. Gavin DeBecker started one of the premier personal protection companies in America back in the, I want to say, late 80s. It's called The Gift of Fear, Lee, by Gavin DeBecker. There you go, tactical. I like that. I'll post it here. Gift of Fear by Gavin. But Gavin DeBecker started one of the first personal protection companies for, VIPs and the stars, if you will, like Oprah, people like that. But back when it was, not as dangerous as today. But he's got another book, a sequel to this called Fear Less. You can catch them on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or wherever you buy books. It's a really good book, and it'll some people it's going to scare the hell out of you. It is, but it's good for everybody, but especially single, I would say single women that haven't woken up yet. But again, it's good for everybody. Yes, Valerie, yes. Hey, Misfit, good to see you. But, it's all about being able to evaluate what's going on, right? Situational awareness, risk assessment, risk management, all that jazz, right? Because people in these blue areas that keep screwing up their towns, they're going to probably keep doing it. We'll show you how bad we can screw up our town. You're not going to tell us if we can't screw our town up. I mean, this is how stupid they are. So if you are sure that your town is not going to get better, you might want to haul ass, or at least start preparing to haul ass. Maybe it has to do with this whole you'll own nothing and be happy. Maybe this is part of driving people out of the area to turn it into, government housing. I don't know. Maybe it's a bunch of things. But here's what I can tell you. That's true, copycat. Again, by letting crime run rampant in your town, by not prosecuting, what possible good are you going to get from that as a politician? Because gangsters don't vote. Drug addicts typically don't vote. Very few alcoholics vote regularly, or that you can count on them. So I don't understand the reward for letting crime run out of control. Hell, encouragement of crime, if you want to know the truth. So think about that. Riddle that one for me. They do. They do hate us. And like I said before, I really think that, and I may not live long enough to see it, but I think you're going to end up seeing some areas what we call freedom zones. You'll have like Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Tennessee, all, like a freedom region or something. I mean, I just don't understand how you would run off your tax. What good is running off your tax base? I mean, I guess I could see that, Lee, but I don't know that there's enough reward there for the risk that they're running. But maybe they just don't care. I think it may be payback, a lot of it. I mean, the Democratic Party, I hate to get political with it, but it is what it is. They're the best firearm sales people in the world. And something else you need to consider if you live in one of these cesspools is defending yourself. It does matter where you defend yourself at. Jury selection matters. Even in Texas, if I had to defend myself with lethal force in Dallas, I would be much more concerned going to court than I would where I live, which is a much more conservative area. It does matter. These governments are effectively creating a wedge. And again, it's government versus the people. At least that's what I think. And there's a power struggle going on. The woke, the sheep, they're on the side of the government because the government knows what's best for them. Everybody's going after Joe Rogan and these other people that are, not even conservative. Hell, they're just not on their team. If you're not on their team, you're the enemy. If you're not on their team, you're the enemy. Amber. But again, think about it. I mean, maybe I'll have the answer. Maybe it's a combination of things, but what good does letting crime get out of control? How does that translate into votes for you? If you're a DA or whatever, mayor, city council member, what good does letting crime run rampant? How does that create votes for you? I think when you start spinning that in your head, you're going to start coming up with other reasons. I mean, these people went to law school and graduated, most of them. Most politicians are lawyers. They're not stupid people. They're cognitive people. I hear you, Lee. I agree with you. If you want to wear a damn mask, wear a mask. If you want to wear a shield, wear a shield. I mean, I'm going to laugh at you, but I'm not going to judge you. That's your decision. Wear a mask. The problem is with people that wear masks that want to shame people that don't, I think. Hello, Terry. Or is it the Soros connection? You've still got Soros out there that's funding all these candidates that want to destabilize America. I mean, like I said, it's probably a combination of things. It's really probably pretty deep stuff, you know. And again, if you can make America implode without firing a shot, why wouldn't you, right? And well, be prepared to encounter crime or some type of incident anywhere, anytime. And again, I'm not telling people to, I'm telling people the opposite of being in fear. I'm telling you to be empowered and be prepared to make a move and expect to see something. Stand your ground. That poor girl in that classroom should have stood up and fought back. But they've got kids so scared to fight back in school. It's just like emboldening criminals on the outside of school. And I think it depends on the school system you're in. My area is still fairly conservative. They don't do all that woke stuff, but it's probably down the road. But people better learn to start standing up and standing their ground. I haven't. I still need to do that, Okie. And Bonnie's, I uh, give me more info, Bonnie's. I'm not following you. I'm gonna do that, Okie, though. That's for sure. Um, but they're trying to criminalize anything that runs counter to the government narrative. They're doing it in Canada, and like I said before, I wish that we would have done this trucker thing simultaneously in America and Canada. Hey, Mary, good to see you. I wish we had done it simultaneously to coincide with one another because it would have been much more effective. Now the feds can get ready for what's coming their direction, but they're going to criminalize that too. Any type of government and anti-government rhetoric or activities are going to be deemed criminal coming to a city near you soon. Well, and as a former, well, there's one. Snipe that bot. Um, sorry. Um, anyway, hey Donna, good to see you. Um, but yeah, they're criminalizing any opposition to their narrative. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? And and I'm not going to sit here and drink the Kool-Aid and say that people commit crimes because they've got no other opportunities. No, they choose to commit crimes because that's a lifestyle that they chose to be involved with. Exactly, Terry. That's good. Did you see the video? Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't see it, but I heard about it, Lee. Yeah. He gave a thumbs up and honked or did something, and they pulled him over and arrested him. I mean, this is insane. And what happened on January 6th? I mean, to me, it's so obvious. Again, the break in, don't agree with it. If those people really wanted to do something to the Capitol that day, they would have burned it to the ground. Other than the break in and the assaults, those people did exactly what they're entitled to do. That's the people's house. Oh, good, Tennessee. I'm glad to see that. I said before, until we militarize the border, nothing's going to change. Watch and see. I bet we start flying them from the country of origin into America. I bet they start chartering flights from the country of origin, i.e., Mexico or another Central South American country. They're going to start chartering flights of people into the country. I bet you, because the optics are so bad. Mm-hmm. People, I'm telling you, crime is just a precursor. The underbellies of all that's going on with the illegal activity, the illegal intrusion into the country, they're not just Central South Americans and Mexicans, okay? They're Syrians, they're from Europe, they're from the Middle East, they're Libyans, they're Haitians. And I get that everybody wants to come here, but there's a lot of people crossing that border that have very, very ill intentions. Hey, Timothy, thanks for showing up. Get well, buddy. So people are going to have to pick a side, including the police. Police around my area, they know better than to participate in this shit. They do. They're not stupid. Look at all these places with the heavy-handed control on firearms, if you will. Chicago. Well, guess who puts their guns down? The legal owning gun folks. You think the criminals give a rat's ass about gun laws? No, that just means less guns for them to have opposition to. I don't disagree with you, Donna. Oh, good. Okay. I'm trying to watch the news at the same time. And we got a reward out, $10 million for this bomber at the Afghan airport that blew up and killed the 13 service members. $10 million. Why don't we just go kill the guy? It's real simple. I don't get it. But, you know, it is what it is. You got to protect yours. It's becoming a real cesspool. Like I said, all the big cities in Texas are blue. Dallas, Austin, Antonio, Houston, they're all ran by the left and run into the ground. The only reason I would ever go there or go through there is if I had to work. And if you're not locked and loaded running around with something on your side, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I don't agree with the break-in and the damaging of the property and all that at the Capitol on the 6th, but I do agree with their right to be there and protest. I don't mind, Amber. What's it for? Oh no. No, it's all about positioning and control and power. And like I said, the power struggle is real. You've got to be able to, I'll put it to you like this. You got to be able to be crazier than the other dude when it calls for it. You know, and I'm not bragging here or anything, but you know, in my military law enforcement, I worked a lot of undercover drugs. Most people don't know that. And, you know, I'm probably, you know, at risk for saying that, but what you learn in that realm, in that world, is you learn how bad and how nasty and how evil people can really be when it comes down to greed. Okay. And a lot of times, what kept me safe is I was able to turn on a switch that made me crazier than the dudes I was targeting. And I'm not telling people to go act crazy or anything. But what I'm saying is, you know, cognitively, you've got to be able to at least put on a armor and match up to somebody. Because if you don't, like this little girl in that classroom, you're going to get beat down or worse. You've got to be able to stand up, push back, be an obstacle. Because if you lay down, they're going to trample you. I don't even put up with rhetoric that's, you know, disrespectful or anything like that in person with people. I'll call them right out to their face. I'm not looking for trouble, not looking for a problem, but if you want some, I'll give you some. That's how I approach life. And I think that people need to adapt and adopt that posture. You don't have to be a Karen running around complaining about everything, but if somebody wants to hurt you or put you in a box or box you in or threaten you or anything like that, you need to be able to stand up and push back and be ready to make a move. If you can't flee reasonably quick and get out of a problem, You need to be prepared to make other decisions. And it's horrible to have to think that way. In America, we shouldn't have to feel that, and we shouldn't have to think that. We shouldn't have to train our kids to be extra careful when they're outside or at school. I swear to God, none of these people work, man. They're all walking to pick up their kids at school every day. It's like, I work too, but man. Like, we don't have enough criminals and drug addicts in our country. We got to import more, right? Yeah, there you go, Lee. Good decision. I like that puddle. Oh, I must have missed it, Amber. Let me see here. Did you drop the link, Amber? Go ahead and drop it if you want to. I'm sure it's all good. But people, you got to be able to stand up. There's a lot of people out there that just run their mouth and talk, A lot of these Karens doing that all day long, run around bitching and complaining about everything. And they don't have any solutions, They're just trying to intimidate and cause drama. You got to be able to stand up and show the person that's doing something. You think you're crazy? You ain't seen nothing, buddy. Oh, okay. I'll have to do that. I think I'll have to do it when I'm offline. But yeah, Tennessee, you got a point, and that's a bad word, of course, but we've already got the Texas militias down there on the border helping Border Patrol and all that, mind the border. Hey, Bushcraft, good to see you. But again, you got to change the way that you think. People are thinking it's going to be a red wave and all that. Man, I don't know. I didn't think America was stupid enough to vote for Biden, but they are. Or at least, I'm sure they came up with the votes they needed, but I think that don't get overconfident. If anything proves that, it's the election of 20. They must know something we don't because they're not changing the way they behave. They're not changing. They're doubling down. You got a few governors that are lifting mask mandates. All they're doing is sticking their finger in the air. They're seeing the political winds change a little bit. I'm telling you, in the end, we're going to have to clean this up. Exactly right. Cold War. Who counts the votes? That's right. And they'll always have to have a reason for mail-in voting. Mail-in voting is the catalyst for their reign. As long as they have mail-in voting, they can come up with what they need to. They are Bonnies. I don't know where the hell I'm going to evacuate to if Beto gets the governorship. I guess Idaho or something. I mean, there it's all about numbers. The only reason Ted Cruz only beat that fool by 2% last time. That's not much in Texas. I hear you, Puddle. I kind of hope I live long enough to see it. These clowns think that, we work for them and we're just supposed to do what they tell us to do. That's what they think. But don't get overconfident. Don't believe the hype, because if one thing's been proven, it's that there's plenty of stupid American voters out there to put these maniacs back in control, keep them in the seat, if you will. And I'm not going to have any mercy on these people that voted for this crap. I mean, the ignorance is just, there is no bottom to the ignorance pit when it comes to these people. They think they're the chosen ones. They think they are the enlightened ones that, uh, have the high ground and the moral authority over us. That's what they think. We just produce the tax dollars. We just, load the bank accounts. The only reason Ted Cruz won last time, only reason was because of the rural areas in Texas. It's the only damn reason. And he won by the skin of his damn teeth. A couple 100,000 votes, I think, which ain't much. Got that right, bud. Hell, I like Oklahoma. I don't have any hate for Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma, especially their casinos. I don't win very much up there, though. I win in Vegas, but not there. Oh, what did I miss? But yeah, thank a liberal for the downfall of this country. I mean, you can see everything in front of your face. People, oh, that'll never happen in America. That won't happen here, and it keeps happening. Look at all this Hunter Biden stuff that's just swept under the rug. I mean, again, all the stuff that they accused 45 of doing, they do. This is the playbook. Accuse your enemies of what you're doing. Was it Mao? Was that who it was? I can't remember. So, in the end, we're eventually going to have to save this country or let it go. That's the options that we have. And this whole thing with Russia continues to smell to high heaven. What does he think he's going to do with 3,000 airborne troops in Poland? I would be very concerned if I was a family member of those troops. I'm just going to let you know right now. I'll be very concerned. Don't trust them. I don't trust any of them either. I don't trust left, right, center. I don't trust any of them. It's like Germany sending 5,000 helmets and a field hospital to Ukraine. Why don't you just send them caskets? You said it, Mary. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, Germany should just send them caskets and headstones or something. Put helmets in a freaking field hospital. Yeah, I foresee a new freedom zone established in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas. I mean, we can't let the woke redraw this country. I have no problem. I have no problem with giving everybody a fair chance. Well, and that's another option, tactical. If we do it, it would probably be war, but I'm not too worried about that either. Yeah, no kidding, bushcraft. Exactly, puddle of souls. But people, please listen to what I'm about to say. If you don't have a firearm of any kind, and you got $300 laying around, go this weekend and buy some kind of shotgun or something. Oh gosh, prepped. You're going to get me in trouble, man. um, but please, if you got $300 laying around, go buy. Just if you can't buy anything else, buy a little 20 gauge or 12 gauge pump basic shotgun, or maybe a little revolver or something. There's plenty of inventory out there that you can get for $300 or less, to be quite honest. And I just think that you got to have something. I mean, you're flying blind. No, that's interesting, bushcraft. Walmart in my area is completely out of the firearms business. Completely out. Last year during COVID, the height of COVID, I would go into this Walmart about twice a week. They still had firearms at the time, and they were taking new guns, rifles, shotguns, brand new out of the box, putting them on the shelf and discounting them 50% because they want out. And I bought my grandson a little 20 gauge pump, Mossberg, nice little youth model 20 gauge pump for I think $120, brand new. And he's not ready for it yet, but I went ahead and bought it, just threw it on the shelf. I mean, that's a no brainer. Should have got two of them. Now they do still sell the shotgun shells, Bonnie's, but yeah, Academy is my next choice. You know, absolutely. And I'm just telling you, people, go get something. Wow. Yeah, I think that they said there was only going to be like 300 stores nationwide that were still going to sell firearms at Walmart. All the Walmarts around me, North Texas, that I've been to, nothing. So, yeah, I'm just saying, people, if you don't have anything, you're flying blind. People think they're going to scare an intruder off with a bat or, uh, some kind of golf club or something. Again, you have to prove that you are crazier than the intruder or the perp that's coming at you. You've got to prove to them that you're not the one. And trust me, when you get used to carrying a firearm all the time and it's comfortable for you, you're going to do it all the time. It's just like putting on a watch. I carry mine everywhere. Newsflash, I also carry them into places that have a sign up saying you can't. Because you know what? I'm not going to get killed because somebody has a damn sign in their window. Just not going to happen. But I'm very careful when I do it. I'm smart about it and I'm proficient with it. And I never let anybody know I've got it. Not encouraging people to break the law. I'm just saying there's more than one way to skin a cat. Sorry to all the cat people out there. I usually carry appendix. I'm usually in shorts. But either way, I'm usually in appendix. It depends. Maybe I'm right side hip, just mostly appendix 90% of the time. But take $300 if you got it. If you got a credit card, that's great. Go slap it down, look on the shelf, see what ammo's available. If it's 380, a bunch of 380, and they got a 380 in the cabinet, but no 9mm, I'd be buying a 380 with some ammunition to go with it. Crime is not going to get any better. If it was me in charge, you couldn't stop me from building prisons. I would be building prisons up and down the interstates all over the place. Again, you have to incentivize people to quit committing crimes, and how you do that is you throw their ass in prison. That's just how it works. Y'all go check out a company, check online, and it's something I wanted to mention in another video I was going to do, but I'll go ahead and throw it out here. There's a company called Global Medical Response. Go check them out. I'm not telling you to go apply for a job there, but look at all the jobs they have. They are the Blackwater of the medical field. Something's going on. They are hiring like you would not believe for everything from dispatchers to aircraft mechanics to austere incident commanders to nurses to EMTs and paramedics and so on and so forth. Check out Global Medical Response. Go look on Indeed and look at all the jobs that they have and tell me something ain't going on. But it's going to spread. I'm telling you, people are going to start going to other places to commit crimes. It's going to be like wildfire. And you just got to be ready for it. I pray to God I never have to engage anybody, but you know what? If it happens, I want, if I've got a problem, I want the option. You know, if you don't have the option, your odds are really, really bad. Until people start pushing back, it's going to keep getting worse. And if you can't change your politics and where you live, and it's not going to get any better, I don't know what you're doing there. Quit giving your money to people like that. Sorry, Puddle, I missed that up there. Let's see. It's right. But I'll tell you right now, in my area, Puddle, stuff is cheap. I mean, ammo's up, but there's plenty of it. They're probably almost to the point of capacity where they're going to have to start discounting stuff. And I'm watching that too. See you, Lee. Have a good one, bud. Thanks for showing up. But people, listen, don't sit here and think that it's never going to happen to you. I mean, that girl that was waiting on the train in New York City didn't think she was going to get pushed off the plaza that day into in front of a moving train and get run over. The people that were driving in New York City didn't expect their baby to get shot in the face by a passerby having a gunfight in the middle of the street. There's kidnappings every day of children. Always remember this. Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And here's another one for you. When seconds count, the police are only minutes away. I don't understand what would keep somebody from going and buying a firearm and getting trained on how to use it right now, especially nowadays. I don't understand it. There's nothing to be intimidated for. There's nothing to be scared of. It's your God-given right. And quite frankly, I think it's your responsibility. Especially if you got a family. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and be, boisterous and look for trouble and this and that and be a show off and have ego and, look at me and all that stuff. I'm just telling you to defend yourself with the use of lethal force if you have to implement it. I'm just saying that it's going to get worse. They say if it hasn't affected you yet, it's going to, just like COVID. So be aware that it can happen anywhere, anytime. That's right. Tactical. Exactly. It reminds me, was it Patton that said, it's not your job to die for your country. it's the other guy's job to die for his. So think of criminals that way. You know, it's not your job to be a victim. Exactly, bushcraft. You start taking food out of people's mouths and uh, the ability to steal food from the store, you'll see animals real quick. I mean, it's already bad and it hadn't even gotten bad yet. Damn right. Hmm. Yes, this is good, Amber. But you can get a little revolver, you know, you can go get a little revolver for 250, 300 bucks at Academy. Hell, they had them on sale for like 235 the other day. But it's a clear government versus we the people. They're criminalizing any opposition to their ways, their rules. You speak out against the government, you are the enemy. Why they're trying to cancel Joe Rogan? He's not on their team. If he was on their team, they'd be all over him. You know, you've got to, as hard as it is to imagine being in a situation, I do it all the time. I think about what if I'm here and this happens? What if I'm over there and this happens? How am I going to react? I play scenarios in my head a lot when I've got downtime to do it. And, you know, it's not that it consumes me, it's just kind of what drives me, I guess you might say. And I'm always watching people. I mean, I'm not saying I don't miss stuff now and then. I probably do, but I'm always checking my mirror. I practice what I preach. That's what I'm going to say. I practice what I preach, and I'm sure a lot of y'all do the same thing. It's kind of the way that you have to train yourself to be. And maybe you're wired that way, you know. But that's just how I do it. Um, but yeah, I really hope that everybody can, you know, take a deep breath and reevaluate their situation and what they're willing to uh, put up with, you know, because they're going to keep restricting. You know, they've made their bed now. You know, they're the party of control and constriction. How about a claymore? Wouldn't mind having a couple of those strategically positioned. Um, but you know, don't waste time, people. Don't waste time. It's the government against the people, and if you, hey J and J, good to see you. If you don't have stuff, go get stuff. Not only do we have the domestic stuff, we got the international stuff too. And, in my opinion, if you can't get your own backyard cleaned up, you probably not ought not to go cleaning up anybody else's backyard. You can't control your own border. Why are you concerned about somebody else's border? This tells you what you need to know. It's about power, control, and greed. Power, control, and greed is what matters to them. Who gets in the way, who gets hurt, who gets victimized does not matter. It's about their pockets, their power, and their greed. That's what it's about. And it's a damn shame, but we are where we are. And I'm not going to cut any liberals any slack. And I'm going to hold them accountable for their damn votes. And I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I'm not going to give any quarter to somebody that was a participant in sinking the ship. They brought it on themselves. And ignorance is no excuse. And voting for president shouldn't have anything to do with feelings, in my opinion. I care about strong defense, low taxes, and less government. Those are the three things I care about. I mean, hell, you had women voting for Clinton when he was elected because he was cute. I mean, they were saying that actively. I mean, really? Freedom and liberty are too hard for some people. It's too much trouble. All they want is their weed, ravioli, ramen, and Wi Fi. That's all they give a damn about. This thing is hanging on by an absolute thread of a thread, I'm telling you. I'll be right back. Y'all keep on. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, everybody. Damn, people trying to make me work. Trying to do it live, and they're trying to make me work. Sorry about that. Really, I am. What's everyone having for dinner? I think we're having leftover red lobster. Free range chicken. Man, that's a nice shift. God's grocery store. Pulled pork. Nice. That sounds good, Amber. Oh, okay. I cooked my chihuahua and I'm like, damn, times ain't that hard yet. Ooh. It might come to that though. Looks like I lost a few. Sorry about that, y'all. Lasagna, can't go wrong with that. So pasta is one of my that's one of my go-tos with regard to the preps. I used to have a lot of actual real pasta, but I've gone to this veggie pasta now. Have y'all tried it? This ronzini, and there's another one Italian, starts with a B. I can't remember, but it's actually pretty good. I can't tell the difference really. It's just it's reconstituted vegetables in the form of pasta. They have like rotini and spaghetti. Here, I'll just show y'all. Sit tight. So this is one of them, ronzini. It's actually pretty good. I really can't tell the difference. And here's another one. And here's the spaghetti. I like the stuff. It's just less carbs, but I like it. I mean, it's not real pasta, but when you get older, you got to watch the intake. And so it's a way to. But anyway, and they have the sugar-free sauces too. Sugar is the killer. And once you get sugar-free, it's a lot easier to do. After you get a couple months into it, I don't really even think about it anymore. I just now sweet tea. I typically do like a half and half. I don't do solid straight sweet tea. It's just too much sugar. But that's a hard one to kick right there. But coffee, I use Splenda. And then I use like the sugar-free French vanilla creamer and sugar-free, sugar-free, sugar-free. And when I cut out like sodas, I drop like 10 pounds immediately. Diet sodas, real sodas, whatever. I haven't had a Coke in God, years. But it's a good way to drop some weight if you're looking to drop some quick weight. Just stop drinking soda pops. But I would really try some of the veggie pasta. You can get it cheap too. It's $1 a box usually. And I figured, if it see what the carb count is on these. So this one here, 200 calories per serving. Ronzoni. That's it. I can't tell the difference. You know, I'm not an expert on it, but I can't really tell the difference. So it's all good. It's good enough for me. Put it like that. Oh, that's funny, little boots. But anyway, people, I know y'all are paying attention. I just wanted to reiterate that it's the government against the people now, and they've played their cards and laid them out on the table. And you know, I don't know that we can count on the Supreme Court either. Unfortunately, I think they, they tend to vote with the wind a lot usually too. And I would condition yourself to the fact that you're probably going to run into trouble at some point. Be prepared to deal with that trouble or flee. And then, watch for the criminals and the crimes of opportunity that they search for on a day-to-day basis. A lot of these are professional criminal gangs, and this is how they earn a living. And you need to be prepared to deal with that should it, come to your area or your backyard, so to speak. And, it's important too to, I've talked about grabbing the kids and making sure they understand what's going on at some level so they're not totally in the dark and they understand that there's evil people out there that want to hurt kids and worse. But your kids need to be able to listen to you, because if something happens, you need to be able to give commands to your kids and they need to listen. They need to know that their job is to listen to you and do what you tell them. You might be out somewhere and you might say, get in the floorboard or get down. And if they go, what? And they're just looking around, they might get shot or something. I mean, it could be anything, right? Your kids need to be able to listen to you and follow commands. The world is not like it used to be when we were, living in a bubble and everybody was on the same page and everybody protected each other. It's not like that anymore. I'm not telling anybody to live in fear. That's the opposite of what I'm telling you. I'm telling you to be empowered and be prepared to make decisions so you get to stay safe. You can't completely insulate yourself from risk, but you know what you can sure do is you can peel away the ratios. You can make the ratio better in your favor. Turn the tables, increase the odds to your benefit. And again, one last thing, I've mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. If you don't have any type of self-defense tool, i.e., something like that, go this weekend and get something. If you've got maybe your family is a bunch of gun nut people or whatever, I got a lot of those in my family. Maybe you can buy one off of them or borrow one. But you're flying blind if you don't have any type of way to defend yourself. Maybe you're into martial arts or something. I don't know, but you got to be thinking that the odds of something happening are pretty good. And if you expect things to happen and they do, you're not as shocked. You're capable of dealing with it. You've gone through scenarios in your head. You've seen other people, what they've gone through. You've heard from other people. And, you're more apt to be able to, defend against that in my opinion. But anyway, hopefully everybody is paying attention and squared away and filling the holes and not too far out of balance one way or the other with regards to their preps. Hopefully you're able to continue learning skills and talking to like-minded people that share your opinion of the world and maybe have a different opinion, but you can still learn from each other. That's always important too. We should never stop learning. We should learn something every day from each other, in my opinion. But it's a mess. It's a real mess, and surely to only get worse. And we've got amateurs in charge, and the people that put them there are no better. So resign yourself to the fact that this is the new world, and we have to end up dealing with it. Probably going to have to end up cleaning it up on our own at some point. So it's good, Amber. It's good. We've always got to hold the torch, and teach the younger generations behind us, because I think every generation we lose something. We lose a skill, or we lose different things that were functional and worked in the past for so many people. All right, Oki. Well, I'm ready to shut it off anyway. Here, it's almost 2 hours, and I appreciate you stopping in. But I'll get you. I'll pass out some more wrenches here. Be looking for those this evening sometime. And I appreciate you guys and gals showing up, especially Bushcraft. I ain't seen you in here in quite a while. And hopefully everybody's maintaining a good level of preparedness and doing the things they need to do. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different situation, different geography, different situation, different family, different budget, etc. So keep doing the things that you can do. Everybody's different. Like I said, do what you can do what you can afford, but do something, and the biggest thing I think is conditioning yourself up here and knowing that things around the corner are popping off and you might run into something along the way. So with that, everybody have a great end of the week. Keep working hard, keep prepping, stack it deep, and always remember, long live the Republic.